We want to build the #1 international baseball league.
Oh, what a catch! What a catch, baby! Like I said, I feel blessed.
The pitcher grabbed by Schlitter goes for the force of the plate.
Ground ball, double play, game over. Wow!
This is a money ball, gentlemen, and this.
Oh, money ball!
What's going on, everyone? It's your host, Liam Skiffington. Welcome back to another episode of the Baseball United podcast, the premier voice of international baseball, and the only podcast that brings you behind the scenes. We pull back the curtains and bring you behind the scenes of the first ever professional baseball league in the Middle East and South Asia, Baseball United. So, if you're a new listener, welcome. If you're an old listener, you should kind of know the deal by now. We've had a cast of star-studded guests on this show so far. We've had Hall of Famers, we've had All-Stars, and I'm very happy, humbled, and honored to be joined by another All-Star, someone with 15 years in the big leagues, someone with over 2,000 hits in the major leagues, and someone that's stolen over 300 bases, Mr. Elvis Andrus. Elvis, how are you? Thank you so much for joining.
I'm doing good, Liam. Thank you for the invite, man.
Appreciate you taking the time. So, Elvis, starting off with just like a little bit of background about yourself. You grew up in Venezuela. Tell me a little bit about the baseball culture down there and how it was when you grew up.
Yeah, I'm from Venezuela, born and raised in Caracas, and then I kind of grew up in Maracay, which is the city, probably like an hour away from the capital, Caracas. But yeah, like you mentioned, growing up in Venezuela, baseball is everything for us. We feel, we breathe, we eat baseball since you're a little kid, and we have a lot of legends that set the path for us, and I think it was an easy choice for me growing up. And I have two older brothers, Erickson and Errol. They play ball too, so for me, I'm the last one, so it was like a easy, just trying to emulate and follow your brother's footstep and just have fun and enjoy baseball.
How old were you, say, when you first picked up a bat and started falling in love with the sport?
Well, I was 3 years old. That's I don't remember when I was three, but that's what my mom and my brother says that like since I was a little kid, like they always play baseball. My dad, may rest in peace. He used to play ball too, so he says he was in the house. We were like breaking, all kinds of windows and just going here and then in a little apartment that we used to live. So it was just a lot of fun, and it's always been in the family.
What if, or who, if anyone, Elvis, did you look up to as a kid growing up playing baseball in Venezuela?
Yeah, I mean, besides of course my brothers, because they're the one that make me wanted to play the game and be better than them. The competition from since you're a little baby. For me and like 99% of Venezuela, especially I love playing shortstop. It was Omar Vizquel. He's our legend, and the guy that was actually the only games that you could see back home, either the Cleveland Indians in the 90s or the New York Yankees. But for me, it was easy. Like I play short, and Omar is one of the best or top three best defensive shortstop ever in the game. So for me, Omar was the guy that I wanted to be like, and trying to get close defensively like him.
At what age, Elvis, did you kind of teams start approaching you? Did you realize you were probably eventually going to get a professional contract?
Yeah, I think it was around, after 14, when I was 14 or 15. I think that's when teams start to kind of like, get interested in me and talking to my mom. Because my middle brother, Errol, he already signed 4 years before me with the New York Yankees. And, he was, until this day, everybody that knows our family knows that he was the one with the crazy talent. And I can say that too. He was a natural. So like, it was always easier because, I was, Errol's brother, like, oh, he's good too. He might be able to sign professional. But I think it was around 15 years old when I told myself, like, you know what, like, if I sacrifice and I work hard, I think I might have a shot, playing professional. So it was around that age.
Sounds like around that age you had a decent agent and your mom because she already had the experience with your brother, right?
Yes, yes, he guided me a lot. I think that he makes it. Thanks to my brother, he's one of the reasons he makes my life through minor league so easy because I know that he made me avoid a lot of things that, without having his guidance, I probably, we would experience it or go through. So I was really blessed to have my brother to always guide me and you got to go to bed. Like you cannot, stay too late. Don't drink. Don't do this. Or a bunch of stuff that he did that he know the result. He actually guided me, and I was able to, don't go through those things.
Do as I say, not as I do, right? That's the older brother
Yeah.
mantra. Um, what position did your brother play?
He's lefty, so he play outfielder. He was center field, and then kind of moving to the left, right. But no, he was a huge prospect. I mean, he was in the same category, like Melky Cabrera. He played with Robinson Cano, so it was funny because I played with those guys in the big leagues, and they always referred to my brother. I was like, dude, your brother could hit, man. Like he was giving us advice about hitting, so. Sometimes when I hear it from my brother, I'm like, man, you were that good. But when you hear from, former superstar and great players, that's when you're like, okay, I guess he was that good. But no, he was really good.
So you signed with the Atlanta Braves in 2005. Bring me back to that moment for a minute, Elvis, if you could. What was that feeling like for you?
It was amazing, man. For me, that was step one, of making my dream, which it was playing in the big league. That was the ultimate goals. But at such a young age, I knew that it was gonna be step by step. So signing was step one, and I remember it was in 2005, and it was in between the Atlanta Braves and the Texas Rangers, which it was actually funny. Those two teams, those were like the top two teams towards the end that I could actually sign with either one. But and then we end up going with Atlanta Braves because my agent at that moment, he saw the whole minor leagues and he was like, I think you're gonna have a better chance moving through the minor leagues a lot easier in the Braves than with the Texas Rangers. So I think that I was actually blessed also that he could guide me and help me because at that age I just want to sign, I just want the money, get a car, the things that like at 16 you kind of dream and wish. Uh, but yeah, that was when I ended up signing with the Braves, and it actually was like a month. I signed in January, and in February they actually lied to my mom, which until this day she's still kind of upset about it because I was supposed to go in standard spring, which is mid-year, and they lied to us. They were like, "No, you're going in spring training. Like, we signed you, and we want to show your talent to everybody in the organization." So for me, I was yes, like because I was finishing my high school. It was my last year in high school, so my mom wanted to, hold a few more months, but I was like, no, I was ready to play, and I think that was the best choice. And I mean, the rest, everybody knows the rest, but it was an amazing day for me.
What was your adjustment like from Venezuela coming to the States and playing professionally?
It was huge, man. I think that's one of the things that through the years I talked to a lot of the guys that were signing, the 16, the 15 years old guys that you knew they were going to sign because sometimes as men, we were like, no, it's okay. I'll get adjusted. Like, it's fine. Everybody do it. But it's tough, man. Like, especially for me, my mom was mom and dad. I grew up with her, my brothers, and, having my family around me helped me, to growing up and mature. But, at 16, you're still a kid. And, I was here in the U.S., in Orlando, actually by myself, with the other guys that you don't know. So it's a really big change. There's nobody cooking for you. There's nobody doing laundry for you. You gotta wake up, like you gotta set your alarm. You gotta feed yourself, and you got the party. You got everything else in the world that you can. There's nobody telling me not to do. So it was a huge change, in everything, and the culture, the language. I did not understood language, so it was my first 5 months. It was very tough, but I'm very glad that, in the Braves organization, they have a really good coaching staff, and, they help us a lot if we need anything that first year. And, for me, I put my mind in baseball. That's what I came to play. So, I try not to, go around and do stuff that I wasn't supposed to. So for me, it was easy because I'm a baseball savvy, and I love, I get really obsessed with baseball. So it's never enough for me.
Mhm. It sounds like Elvis, yourself, and all of these international prospects that we see from Venezuela, the Dominican, wherever that sign at 16 years old, they have to mature quicker than most, and they have to almost become adults as soon as they get over here.
I believe so, man. I think that, if you see the difference from, like, Latin American kids, and even, player from another country, than here in the U.S. Like, a bunch of guys are signed, and yeah, they probably move states, but it's, same language, same culture. I mean, for us, it's tough. I think now they do such a good job, like teaching the kids about the culture, the language. So you see now kids 16 years old, like way mature, and like they speak, the English is very well spoken. I'm very glad because through the years being like that. But when I signed in 2005, we were like kind of like still getting there, and it was tough, man. I can see a lot of guys go through, like, depressions and all those type of stuff. But I think it's part of life. So for me, it was just, another challenge. And like my mom always told me, like, well, you wanted to play professional, there you go. So, I never put any excuse. I was just trying to focus on get better, and go through the minor leagues, and get to the, my main goal, which was getting the big leagues.
So, as you said, you get to the big leagues, you make that goal, get to the big leagues in 2009. What was that call-up day like for you?
It was mine, which was gonna be funny, because mine, I never get the call out because I made the team from spring training, so it's kind of like different, right? Like I experienced the year before when I was in Double A. I saw a bunch of my friends get called up to the big leagues, and it was such a surreal moment. I get, like, like goosebumps. Remember those times, and especially for those guys. But for me, I was always so amped up to, like, how is it gonna be mine? How am I gonna respond to the call? But mine was probably the most boring, you make the team situation. And it was like literally like towards the end of spring training 2009. And, like I was doing a great spring training, thank God. And, like they were, every 2 weeks or every week they send guys to the minor leagues. And, my name wasn't sending, I wasn't sending, I didn't get sent down. So I was like, okay, I still got a shot. And all the guys like, dude, you're in the big leagues. And I was like, no, man, until I hear my name, from the manager, that's when I'm in the big leagues. So it never happened. Actually, the last day when we were flying back to Texas, we were eating, and I'm like, using my suit and getting ready. And actually, I'm going to the restroom to go brush my teeth. And Ron Washington, our manager, he was eating chicken, and he stopped me. Like I'm walking, he stopped me. He said, "Hey, Elvis, by the way, I shouldn't tell you this like a week ago, but he said I forgot about it. Congratulations, you make the team." And I was like, "Okay, okay, Skip, thank you." And I went to the restroom. Get it, like, in the toilet, which is kind of private, and I start jumping, and I call my mom, my brothers, and because they were like waiting too, for days, like, do you make it, do you not? So, when I told the story, people was like, really, like that? I was like, yeah, man. Like I was disappointed, but I was super happy. But yeah, mine wasn't, like the big call up, and something like that. Mine was very casual, and I like it, at some point too.
Do you have that Ron Washington story is great. I'm sure you probably have a million of them from your time with him, and we'll get to that later. But do you have like from that season, that 2009 season, Elvis, is there like a welcome to the big leagues moment that sticks out to you?
Uh, so many, man, so many. But I think from the first game, I remember first day we playing, day game against Cleveland and Cliff Lee, which he was the Cy Young winner from the previous year. He was pitching, right? So like everybody's like, okay, kid, like it's gonna be a tough day, like chill out, like if you don't get a hit, it's okay. Like he's very nasty. I'm like, oh, I'm fine. Like I'm confident. Like I'll get something. And I remember before the game, man, we're in the line and I'm running and like running because I have so much energy. Like I'm 20 years old. Like I'm gonna, I'm about to make my dream come true. Everybody's watching the, ballpark is packed, the energy, and I'm like running. I was like, I always used to do in minor league when I was too anxious. Like I used to start running to get myself down. And I remember I'm like 10 sprints, like 100%, like going and like Kinsler and Michael Young and all the guys are looking at me like, dude, chill out. And I'm like, man, like I can't, like my heart is like out to explode. And they're like laughing and they're like, welcome to the big league, kid. And I remember I talked to Omar Vizquel, which he was like kind of like my mentor that year. I was like, hey, Omar, like, give me an advice, man. Like my heart is about to explode. Like I don't know how to like like come down. And he goes like, Elvis, it's the same, man. I've been playing 20 plus year. I remember playing in the minor league. It's the same game, just with a little bit more people and a couple cameras, man. Just treat it as the same. Do the same, whatever it is, like your ritual, whatever it is. Just maintain it. Like it's just a game. In a few weeks, it's gonna be just like the minor league. So that really helped me come down and I end up getting a double my first at bat, which it helps. But that whole week, man, that was like welcome to the big league. Everything I did, from carry the beers, which I couldn't because I was 20, to carry suitcases to the guys' hotel room. Pretty much the whole year they let you know you're a rookie. So now it changed. Now they're not too bad to the rookies, but back then they were still. I have a lot of veterans. I have Kevin Millwood, Eddie Guardado. Guys with 20 plus years in the big league. So but it was fun for me. I was always down for anything.
So you had a great rookie season in '09. You finished second in the Rookie of the Year voting in the American League. Fast forward 1 year to 2010, you get your first experience in a World Series. What was I guess the playoff run like for you? And then once you got to the World Series, what do you remember about it?
That was crazy, man. That 2010 year, it was crazy because 2009 we fight in the division until like probably mid September. That's when like the Angel kind of separate and they went ahead and win the division for like 7 8 games. But 2010 we were like, you know what? I think we can beat this guy, and I think that's all it took. Go to the spring training. We knew the talent that we had, and signing Vladimir Guerrero kind of gave us that extra pump that we needed, and I think, starting 2010, we knew we were going to win. Like, we knew it was going to be a dogfight with the Angels, but we knew that we were better and, we have a lot more talent and we were younger and hungry. So 2010 was crazy and a little bit of roller coaster, but I remember going to the postseason. I'm a kid, so I'm like fearless. I'm just playing the game. I'm leading off, which I never lead off in my whole career into that year when Kinsler got hurt and Washington. Even when Kinsler get back, Washington is like, dude, we're winning. You're gonna continue to be the lead off. And I was like, oh my god, so but it was an amazing year. Like I made the All-Star team that year, for the first time. And when we went to the postseason, we just literally battled through. We play um, Tampa, which was crazy because when we beat Tampa, there was so much euphoria and like all the front office was like a little kids. And I'm telling the guys like Michael and Ian, right? Like, why they're so happy, man? Like, we just won a series. And Michael, he's been the longest tenure at that moment. He was like, dude, that's the first series that we win as an organization. And I was like, whoa, like we were so bad before. We never win a series. and that's when I understood, where we were, and I think that helped me from the next round to like play a little bit with more passion and more energy, and when we beat the Yankees, which has been the team that in the previous postseason always eliminate Texas. It was on, I think that kind of helped me and helped the team to like, what, like we're done and we're gonna make it. We're gonna go through the Yankees, and beating them for us was a World Series. Everybody celebrate the whole city. We won in here, the whole city. I don't know how it was last year with the World Series, but I'm telling you, man, like that city, like the whole city got crazy. It was so crazy, man. It was, I saw so many grown up people crying. Like that's crazy when you see that, and it was just an amazing time. For me, I was just, top of the mountain and having fun, and just, wanted to keep playing forward.
So not only did you win the first series, like as that with that organization, Elvis, you followed it up the next year with another World Series appearance. What was that like for you?
Yeah, the next year it was more work because I think the first one, we were expected. I think as a team we expected to win the division and then kind of keep moving forward. So like what happened, we went crazy as a team, and when you have that much talent and everything click, we have Cliff Lee that year, so like that really helped us to like, okay, we can do it. But 2011, especially in the off season of 2010, I remember I was playing in Venezuela, and my agent Scott Boras called me, and he goes like, I think your team just going to get a little bit better. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, we're in the World Series, we're the American League champion. He was like, yeah, but you're gonna get a guy that is wanna take you guys to the next step. And I'm like, who are you talking about? And he was like, yeah, Adrian is gonna sign with you guys. And that was for me, it was like, wow, like that was an amazing news. And I was like, straight off from that day when I saw that he signed with the Rangers, I was like, we're back in the World Series, and we're gonna win it. I think that he's not like we're gonna get back. It's like we were gonna win the World Series, So, and we didn't win it, but we ended up going again to the World Series, to the painful, game 6 and 7. But I mean, I would not take, anything. I would not change. Probably the last one strike I would change out of the whole World Series, but it was an amazing and one of the best World Series ever, in my book. So
Bring me a little bit more, a little bit deeper into that Game 7 from 2011, Elvis. How did you deal? You were, what, 22 years old at the time? How did you deal with that type of pressure at such a young age, being fairly new to the big leagues?
yeah, no, I think it was like the craziest game was Game 6. Actually, the back and forth when David Freese hit the double to tie it and then to walk off. Uh, that game was the craziest game I ever been in my life. I remember, like, which I tell people, and they're like, "Really?" I remember I brought because I have so much. I was so on top for the game. Like, there's so much energy, and like there was so much in the line. And I used to bring my iPods, which we had the iPods back then, and I put them behind the dugout to play music. Before I like after every half inning, because I feel like I could not contain, the energy and the emotion and how like the excitement of the game. It was crazy, man. So like every half inning, I used to come back. If I was not hitting, put my headphones and play music that kind of calm me down for like 2 3 minutes, and then go back to the jungle. Go back to the crazy game. But it was just unbelievable, man. Like it was. I mean, unfortunately, we lost, but oh my God, from the first inning, man, it was just, like they score, we score, they score, we score, plays and homers. And man, it was such a roller coaster. Like I did not sleep that whole World Series after the game. Like, I think I sleep around 5 a.m. every day of the next day because you could not, like, it was impossible to come down after the games. But, it was crazy, man. Like, it was very crazy.
Yeah, I can only imagine the adrenaline that you're feeling even after the game. You said you'd go to bed at 5 a.m. What time would you get to the ballpark the next day?
Yeah, at that point, you don't really practice that much. You're trying to like rest for the game because I mean, there's nothing to practice pretty much at that point. You know, you got what you got, and you use what you got in those games. You know, if you're struggling, you find a way. You know, sacrifice yourself. If you're hot and then you don't want to do anything, you just want to play. But yeah, you get to the ballpark probably like around, you know, it's up to you. There's guys that are like around one doing treatment because, you know, remember it's October, November, so your body's, you know, is gas, and it's pretty much adrenaline that gets you through the games, pretty much, and a lot of painkillers. But yeah, no, I used to go. Like I said, I was 22, so like, you know, they were like all the veteran guys. They were like dying. I'm like, yay, like another game. I was actually thinking, I'm like, well, I'm gonna play this year in Venezuela again. You know, winter ball. I'm gonna have fun talking about, you know, the experience. But yeah, for me, like I'll show up like around 3 in the ballpark. You know, just change, get ready, and you know, just wait. You know, just see who's pitching, how you're gonna approach it as a team, and that's it. Pretty much go and compete. You know, that's what the World Series is all about. It's not about anything else than compete. If whoever compete the most and, you know, have the lucky in their side is gonna win the game.
So you talk about Adrian Beltre joining the Texas Rangers in 2011. Elvis, he was your longtime teammate. The pure joy as a baseball fan, just the pure joy of watching you two play together was such a pleasure for almost a decade, even a little bit more, I think. It, what do you have to say about your time with Adrian and just your relationship overall?
Oh no, man, it was amazing. You know, I always say to a lot of people, you know, they ask me about it. I always say that Adrian was a bless. You know, God sent Adrian to the Rangers to help me. I don't think I would have had the career that I had without him. You know, he helped me so much from every standpoint. You know, from baseball, of course, but off, you know, off the field. You know, like him and Sandra, his wife, they gave me so many advice about, you know, like having a relationship and, you know, thinking about, you know, having a family and be a good human being, you know, all around. And you know, for me, I would never had anything to pay him back. But you know, having him to play, man, like his work ethic, the way he prepared, he really accelerate my game in a lot of different ways. You know, for me, I was just, you know, just looking at him, you know, how he prepared. And I'm always asking questions. So like, literally, like I'll be so annoying. He'll be like, "Dude, give me a minute, okay? Give me an hour. Let me breathe a little bit because, you know, for me every day I want to learn. You know, like how do you hit that pitch? How do you face this guy? Like how you you know, position yourself like this? Like how you so good with the ground balls? Like it was so many questions through all the years and. Even after he retired, I keep calling him like, "Dude, help me with the clubhouse. Like, how can I deal with the clubhouse?" So he was just so many things, man, that he impacted my career, my life, and I mean, until this day, you know, we still talking, and we together in this venture, Baseball United. So it's a long life relationship. So.
So yeah, Alfie, what I was going to bring up next. So was Adrian the reason, or like your liaison to Baseball United? Did he reach out to you and like start telling you about it? Bring me into that moment a little bit.
Oh, 100%. He mentioned. I remember he sent me a text. He was like, "Hey, I need to talk to you." And I was like, "Yeah." I was with the kids, so like I was like, "Okay, give me like 30 minutes, and I'll call you." And then when he let me know, I didn't need to hear everything. Like when he mentioned we're gonna bring baseball to the Middle East, you know, new culture. I was down. I was like, "Do you check all the legal work and the paper?" He was like, "Yeah, I did." I was like, "Okay, I'm in." So yeah, no, it was very easy and when he talked to me, and then I get to talk to Cash and the whole group. I love the idea. I love the vision. I love the team. So it was a easy decision for me to join the group.
So Elvis, when you invest your not only your money, but your time, your efforts, your ideas into anything, surely that venture has to have something specific that sticks out to you. What part of our mission here at Baseball United resonated with you that really made you want to be a part of it?
Well, I mean, besides the vision, I think that going into Dubai last year and see the amount of work and see the amount of preparation that Cash and John and the whole group did, that was mind blowing for me because I don't think that as a player. You never behind. You always behind the scene, right? Like you are the product, so you just playing. But when you are in this side, and then when you get to see like the permits and like the ballpark and like get the cricket ballpark to make it a baseball and the clubhouse and like there's so many so many different players. That's when I was like, wow, like I remember telling Cash in the group like I was so impressed and very happy with what they did and knowing that like it was the first time, and like knowing the understanding that, first time is the toughest one, like open this thing up, it was gonna be the toughest, but I was very pleased. I love it. I love the games. I love the level of the game. I think I know a bunch of the guys. From Robbie Cano, Sandoval. I play with Robbie Ross. Didi and Andrelton Simmons that we played for so many years. Like the level of players there. You have All-Star game, World Series championship, and MVP. So I was like very pleased with what we did, and hopefully we can just continue this momentum and finalize our vision, which is having the season and a league down there.
We talk about the elite ownership group on this show often. They have Elvis, yourself, Robinson Chirinos, Felix Hernandez, and Ronald Acuna Jr., just as four of them, all from Venezuela. This is a minority-owned league. How important is it to you that you're part of a league that's so set on promoting diversity and inclusion from top to bottom?
It's very important, man. I think that was one of the reasons for me to join, uh, because sometimes minority doesn't have the opportunity, in a lot of markets, especially sport markets. You have a lot of giants they're not gonna let you, put your foot, into their empire. So, the idea of having the minority owning this first wave, I love it. And like you mentioned, there's guys from Venezuela, there's guys from Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Curacao. So like the minority is awesome because we're gonna I'm very I can preach this that we're gonna bring a really nice and diversity product to the Middle East, which is another culture, and we're trying to bring something new to that region. So I think that we are more than prepared, and I think that moving forward, we're just gonna continue to get better.
Elvis, what have you noticed specifically about the leadership here at Baseball United and how they propel us forward each and every day, regardless of what happens? They seem to be they're just so amazing at pivoting, adjusting, and then continuing to push forward.
Yeah, I think that I speak by himself. I mean, the resume of Cash, John, and the rest, of the group. I speak by himself, man. They're so smart. They communicate well. They know the vision, and we still learning as a group, to like be a team. And it's funny because it's actually a team sport, and as a group we need to be, a team group, play and have all go by the same ideas and even if we don't agree, we can talk about it and we end up where we want to be. So I love the group. I think there's a lot. I mean, the top of the group knows where we're going. The vision is clear and is about to execute right now. So I'm very happy and humble to be part. And like you mentioned, in whatever I can help or put my opinion or my emphasis in something, I will. And because at the end, it's not about me. It's about the league. It's about Baseball United as a league, and it's about the baseball. To growing this sport in a new culture in a new region, and I think we're ready for it.
Elvis, in your role with us, what are some of the things, in your opinion, that you can do to kind of mentor these younger players, either in the league and in that region?
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I always been very, fascinated to talk to, especially the young guys. I always believe that I'm in the middle. Like I was able to learn, from the veteran guys, from the old school game, and then I played through, mid and the end of my career, pretty much through the new baseball. Like the Ronald Acuna guys, the new generation of players. So I mean, I think that I'm always in the middle where I can speak, from both sides and help and guide. And I think one of the things that I always love was having fun. I think that this sport needs to you need to have fun, and that's one of the ideas that about the money ball and like having music through the game, like in the NBA or like any other sport where like the music never stops. I love that, like having bands playing in the bleachers. Is for me that's what it is about baseball. It's about going to spending 2 to 3 hours of your time of the day to like just relax and like there's nothing you need to worry. Just enjoy the show, listen to some music, and take that memory of that day of that game home. And I think it's an amazing pastime as a family that you can do. So I mean, there's a lot of ideas that for sure I will continue to have, moving forward with the league. But I mean, the most important right now is to actually get the league started. I think that's like going, step one, two, and three. We need to get going on, and after we do that, I think not only me, there's a number of players that will bring a lot of ideas. Same with the board and with the front guys in the board. They will have their ideas also, but I mean at the end it's baseball. You cannot change it. We can bring some good ideas, but the essence of baseball is not going to change, and that's what we want to bring down to those regions.
Elvis, I'm curious, when you came on as an owner, did you have a bunch of other of your like major league friends, baseball friends from around the industry reach out to you wanting to be involved?
Oh, 100%. I mean, a bunch of them wanted to play down there in Dubai, and a lot of like coaches and guys that I know say, "Hey, I can coach." But yeah, no, there's a lot of guys that they kind of like really interesting. A lot of them want to see this kind of like moving forward a little bit more. I know, like if we keep moving forward, there's a lot of guys that are kind of waiting for that notch, to the next step to actually jump in and be part of this. I try to talk to a bunch of them, like, well, you got to do it now because if you wait, that it's gonna be probably a little bit more expensive, to join. But no, it is. I think throughout the league, especially last year that I was still playing, a lot of guys, not only from my team, from everywhere, like the other from around the whole league, they were like asking a lot, like, "Hey, man, how it was? Like, is it gonna be baseball this year? How is it is? Like, you guys gonna have a full season?" So like you see, they're curious about it, and that's what we're looking for. We want people to get curious to invest, in our project, and I think this is a very smart investment decision that anyone can do, especially in the sport, because this thing is gonna grow and it's gonna be beautiful, same as it is in the U.S., same as it is in Dominican, Venezuela, and the whole Caribbean. So we are really excited to be part, and we can wait for these monsters to get huge.
So the priority right now is growing the game in the Middle East and South Asia. In what ways, Elvis, do you think that the league could help promote baseball within Latin American countries such as Venezuela, the Dominican?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the we can do it right away because the way we starting, or like our first idea, our first vision is to be a winner ball. Like a 2 month season, a lot of fun, and just to get the game going on, right? So people can come and can kind of get into it, baseball and the sport. Uh, And then moving forward, I think that the ultimate vision is having a full season, right? Like a full length season down there. I think that's my vision and everybody's vision in Baseball United. That's where we want to take the game to the next step, and building nice and crazy stadiums. Which when you see the buildings out there, it's gonna be very easy for them because they have one of the craziest architects buildings in the world. So that's what we're looking for. And I think from, Venezuela, I know Robinson Chirinos, he's going to work in Venezuela. Out there, we have people throughout the whole Latin America. So we can make that happen. We can talk to, like those leagues and get, the players, advice about the leagues because we're going to need it. We're new to this and we know this project brings a lot of challenge. But I think as group we will prepare. I think we all were prepared to those challenge and to move forward and to have the type of league that we wanted and to complete our vision.
Elvis, what message do you have for the fans in the Middle East that are waiting for Baseball United eagerly?
Man, they got to get into it. I think that last year it was fun. I think this year I would love to have more citizens, from those regions. I want to see more people from Dubai going into the games. I think that will be the main goal for us, like attract, a lot more fans and I think there's a lot of ideas that we can do. I think that's one of the things that moving forward, I'll talk to Cash about how we can get them, to be part of the games and the moving forward, like short thing for me will be to get a player, from there. We have to get player from Dubai and the region from Riyadh. Like we need to get the future superstars in those leagues. So I think that we are doing it, with the little league. They're playing a lot of little league games down there, and we know it's gonna take some time. We know it's not gonna be a 1 year, 2 year. We're gonna have this amazing league. We know it's gonna be every year, creating and keep building the momentum that we had. But I think for me, as soon as they get engaged with the game and understand this game, because it's very similar as cricket, but it's gonna be a lot more fun, than cricket. So as soon as we get that, I think the league is gonna just explode because there's a lot of different. There was a lot of Latin people there in Dubai. There's a lot of American people there in Dubai. So I think that we have, and they understand the game. They love the game. So if we can get the region people to join us, that will be massive.
Elvis, were you surprised at all to learn just how many active baseball fans there are in that region of the world?
It did surprise me, man. I did not expect that many Venezuelan in the game, man. That was unbelievable. I was very mind blowing. There's a lot of fans from Venezuela, from Dominican, from Puerto Rico, and then a lot of American fans there. It was a lot of fun and mind blowing for me, and hopefully they can come back this year, and like I said, the main key for us will be to bring a lot of people from Dubai and from those regions for sure.
Elvis, so Robinson Cano, Bartolo Colon, Didi Gregorius, Jair Jurgens, Andrelton Simmons. I want to make sure I'm not forgetting anyone. I don't think I am. Those are all our player owners right now. Is there any chance at all that we see Elvis Andrus on the field this year with
Oh my
Baseball
God!
United?
Oh, 100%. Especially me not playing this year. I will try to play next year. Probably my last year to retire. I'll give it a shot. But yeah, I'm 100%. I haven't talked to Cash or the guys, but I think that yes, the chances of me playing, they're very high right now. So yes, I think that will happen this year.
Well, Elvis, thanks so much for joining the Baseball United podcast, and best of luck, my friend.
No, thank you, Liam. Thank you, and yeah, love you being involved, and we'll talk for sure down there. And then we need to get this amazing movement going on, and we're all ready to do it.